Bishop Bolden, would you lead us, please?
First, Heavenly Father, Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting. We're going to give a word to you, Lord. Bless our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here and seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Dietz.
Here.
Councilmember Bolden.
Here.
Councilmember McCleary. Councilmember Sansing.
Here.
Councilmember Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Mashburn.
She is ill.
Councilmember Twitty. Councilmember Kinman. Councilmember Raines.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm here.
We have one absent.
All right, we have a quorum. Before you, you've got your minutes from the February 16th meeting, so you can be familiarizing yourself with them. And you've also got the minutes from the February 2nd, which entertain a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving on down to ordinance 1723.
Mayor, I move that we read ordinance 1723.
Second.
All right, got a first and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance 1723, an ordinance declaring the exercise of eminent domain on certain real property within the city limits of the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, for acquisition of public easements and rights-of-way for the construction and development of improved public water lines for the construction projects on behalf of Jacksonville Waterworks and for other purposes.
Any questions, discussion on that?
So this is just a continuation of what you approved last year. The water department found out that RDOT's plans changed, so they needed to modify their plans as well. This is just for a portion of the McDonald's parking lot on the North First Street side. I think previously you guys had approved one for the loop side. This is just around the parking lot.
Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1723 on first reading, suspend rules, and place on second reading. First and a second, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Dietz.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve ordinance
moved.
1723 on second reading and suspend the rules and place on third and final. We've got a motion and a second, so roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1723 on this date.
Second.
Motion and a second. You'll get that in a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, so that 1723 is, has been adopted, and we do not need an emergency clause on that one. So moving on to ordinance 1719. This is the waiving of competitive bidding to rebuild a public works vehicle. Adam.
This is one, I mentioned at a last meeting. This is to rebuild our sanitation truck that burned down. And it's not, this is I'm not going to say we're waiving competitive bidding so much as it's really not an item I can bid. We've been looking for months on, the best option to recoup our equity we have in that. We've got a good trash body, but we've got a burned chassis. So we have done a lot of investigating as far as seeing what new versus old and stuff. And through our process, we ran across a gentleman that was referred by a few vendors, this Terrific Trucks and Equipment Sales. That this is what they specialize in. They specialize in refurbing trucks and garbage trucks, taking bits and pieces of one and merge them together. So they had a chassis that would suit our needs. That he was, basically the plan is he's going to give us a completely refurbed truck and chassis and completely refurb our body, on the wear parts and stuff, merge these two together and give us will be a real nice solid backup unit for less than half the cost of a new one. So we felt like this was the best option to recoup what equity we had in that 2018 body, Labrie body. Yes, sir.
Adam, I know you're knowledgeable in this, but
Yes, sir.
the question I have about this company,
Yes.
what are the reviews like, testimonials from other people you use?
I mean, that's what got us there. And I can't tell you all, Randy Watkins, my Assistant Public Works Director, who was our former sanitation guy, he's the one that's been spearheading this.
Okay.
And according to him, he said his references check out. He's legit. We've called around. We've tried to work with our local dealership, and there's not a chassis that'll pair with our system. So this guy had multiple options, and this is the one that's going to work best for us.
Does it
we
come
feel
with any
like.
kind of warranty or anything?
I'll look and see.
I was looking at, I was just asking.
Yeah, they're. I don't know that. I think it's probably an as-is kind of deal, but.
Is there a way that, as a city, we can purchase an extended warranty outside? Is that possible with city? Just asking.
It's a good question, and I don't know. I will say this: after this incident, and now that we've done some investigating on some of these cab over trucks, there seemed to be a little history there of them burning down. And one of the problems is the cab sits over the motor, so even minor issues you can't swing the cab off and extinguish it, even for something that could be recovered. So just step one, we're not, as far as the immediate future, our new trucks that we've ordered, they're not cab over, they're conventional cabs. But two, in the process, I want to insure at least our frontline trucks. I mean, that would make this whole ordeal a little bit more palatable. I mean, we're essentially self-insured. We've got really good liability insurance that's a really good cost for the municipal league, but I think it's worth it to go ahead and get insurance on at least our frontline trucks.
Okay.
So.
If you get this one up and running, how many will this give you total?
So with this one and our new ones, this will give us two solid automated backups. Now the plan is our old Hiles, our 2011. Once we get our two new trucks in, we have our 2020 that's running. So then we'll have. We'll have, so we have three frontline trucks, we have three route trucks, and then eventually three backup trucks. So that should put us, this will put us at three backup trucks when we get everything else refurbed. So we're going to put on Gov Deals the old 2011, our original Hiles, as soon as we get the two new trucks in. Now, just a little update, we did get word from the vendor this week, fingers crossed, that we should be about a week out from getting our one new truck, and said our other new truck is following it. So we also got out of the shop one of our good solid backups that we hadn't had available in about 2 months. And we got a rental in, so I expect sanitation to normalize a little bit. We still got a lot of PM that we're gonna do while we got this rental rear loader, to get our trucks all caught up on preventive maintenance and stuff. So that'll take some working out, but it's, the last 2 weeks, we have got our routes complete by Thursday. So that's something that hadn't happened in a little while, so, we're on a streak.
Okay.
Any other
I
questions?
move that we read our ordinance 1719.
I do have a question. So you said that it's a 2018, correct?
Our body is a 2018.
Okay.
So we're gonna put it on a, it's 2006, 2007 refurbished chassis. Now, I know that sounds like, well, why are you putting it on an old truck? The significance of that, it's pre-emissions. So it's a fully rebuilt, fully refurbished pre-emissions truck. Now, if any of you own diesels or have heard anything, that's a big deal. For a backup truck for us, I would rather have the pre-emissions than I would the emissions and have to deal with that, especially for a backup that might be sitting for a little bit and then bringing into service. So our backups, they need to be ready to go. So, I'm sold on the fact that he's, completely going through the motor, rebuilt motor and stuff. So the fact that it's a 2006-7 Peterbilt, merged to a 2008 trash body, that's what we want.
All right, we've got a motion and second on the floor to place ordinance 1719 on first reading, so roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance 1719, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding to rebuild a Jacksonville Public Works vehicle for appropriate implementation and access for department and City of Jacksonville representatives, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
All right, entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1719 on first and place it on, suspend the rules and place it on second. We've got a motion and a second, so roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1719 on second and suspend the rules and place it on third and final reading. Motion and second, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1719 on this day.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, entertain, all right, that has been approved, but we need to entertain a motion to attach the emergency clause.
So move.
Second.
Motion second, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. We've got a request to accept bid from Tom Corey about the memorial fountain renovation. Kevin, please.
Yes,
This has been discussed a lot, as you guys know, over the last few months, and we did send it out to competitive bidding. We received one bid back. It was actually from a contractor that we work with currently, and that's the only reason he bid it, because we have a relationship with him. That's his words, not mine. But as you can see, it's $132,573. The fountain at the chamber, Chamber of Commerce.
What was the original amount that we set aside for that?
I don't know, and I'm sorry, because Mary and I have actually talked about this. I don't remember us setting aside an amount specifically for this. The quote he give, though, just so you guys know, and it's on y'all's tab sheet, does not include any unforeseen broken pipes in the ground. I mean, obviously, we can't check that until everything's up and running, or electrical. The electrical could be done in-house. We have licensed electricians that work, but I'm afraid we probably need to figure about 10% contingency here for unforeseen things.
Kevin, have you talked to anybody else in the other cities about their fountains?
A little, and everyone, it's the same, they're a problem, you know, they're just a maintenance nightmare. I mean, you hear the same things over and over. I actually talked to about 3 other contractors when we had this out to bid, when it was being advertised, and when I told them they would have to give us a warranty, they didn't want to bid it.
So what does the 132, what are they doing?
And I should have brought that with me, I'm sorry, but it's resealing, you know, the pools are leaking. There's basically 3 pools there that are leaking. It's resealing all of them, all new equipment in the pit to run the fountains, new lighting. It'll be just cleaned up, renovated, and fix the leaks that we know are there. What it doesn't include, like I said, is the piping in the ground.
Are we able to reach out to other, I mean, I know you put it out for bidding, but can we not contact and go, will you come and?
Not with it over a certain amount. State, you know, purchasing, we have to go out to bid. And this guy actually he does lots of work on pools. He works on our pools when needed. One of the contractors we use, he's got his tips, taps number, so he's basically like he could have done this work legally without us going to bid. We felt like it was the best thing to do, to go out and bid and see what other prices we could get. Yes, sir.
I've got clarity in your statement. They're not guaranteeing anything, is that correct?
No, there is a year's warranty on his work, on the leaks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hypothetically, if we fix this and there's something else under there already that he didn't work on, it burst, you're back at square one, is that correct?
Correct. And that, you know, that's unforeseen.
Right.
Because there is plumbing and piping from the pit that runs underground. Obviously, you can't dig all that up, and he can't give a price to guarantee that that's going to be good. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
At any time, did we winterize that?
We did. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that's good.
I would like to see us hold off on this. This is a lot of money that we're talking about without. I have reached out to Little Rock, you know, they are closing their fountains down.
They are. That's
So-
a theme across the state.
I
It
know a
is.
lot of people has reached out to me to want to get our fountain fixed up there. I don't really know what the answer with that fountain really is, guys, but for this amount of money, that's a lot of money to put out there with with pools, most of the time when you put a full pool in, you're not gonna have any problem that first year. It's after that.
Right.
And they're only guaranteeing it for a year, so I'd like to see us hold off on this until we get a little bit more knowledge about what we might
And just
do.
like you said, it's
We don't-
it's a theme across the state.
It is.
That people are closing fountains.
I've
They're
called
hard to
several.
maintain. They're hard to keep up.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
literally,
pretty.
They are.
They're
When
very
they're
pretty.
working, they are beautiful.
You know, I know that was a gift to the city, and the people that have reached out to me are saying, you know, that was a gift, it's yours, y'all should be responsible for fixing it, but with the problems and the amount of money and no guarantee that we're getting with that amount of money, I don't think it's wise for us to make that decision.
Mr. Mayor, this thing been down 3 years. And this is just a center was something that we put together years ago to make sure there was a similar Jacksonville progress. And the gentleman's name was on it, was a good supporter of the city of Jacksonville. He had his factory here in Jacksonville. And I'm thinking that we keep putting it off, it's just gonna get higher, it's just gonna get more expensive. It's just gonna get more, better. I'm thinking if we go ahead on and improve this thing and we train our people to work on the pumps and things like this. Now, when I worked at Remington Arms, I trained to rebuild pumps and things like this. Pumping companies have schools that you can go to train to rebuild stuff like this instead of hiring outside people. We got mechanics on our payroll that they can do the maintenance work on this thing. I don't know about the foundation and all that, but I'm thinking we done held off long enough, and this bill is so high for this part of the city for a while. I think we should go on and try to get it fixed, because it's $170,000 now. It's going to be $200,000 tomorrow. That's my speech.
I consider the fountain to have, it's been a wonderful thing, but as time has passed, now it's turned into a money pit. If you're, $100,000 here, $100,000 there, when does it end with the fountain? I think it's pretty much time that we turn that into a beautiful garden and have our garden club in town.
I don't think that's
do something else with it. But right now, it's too expensive.
I don't want to do anything with this because, like Rita, you said, it was a gift to the city. And without reaching out to the person that gifted that to the city, I think they need to have some kind of input. I'm not saying not to ever fix it, but I think we need to know a little bit more before we agree to spend this kind of money on a fountain that we don't have a warranty on, basically. We have a year's warranty on it, and that's not good enough. And we don't even really know exactly what all's wrong with it, do we?
And we won't, is the
No,
other
exactly.
problem.
And
I mean,
so-
if we go out to bid in another year, if it's another month,
Right.
we're not gonna know any more then. We've spent a lot of time over there and
Yes.
we've done all the research we can do
Yeah.
to try to come up with the best scope of work
I would like
possible to
to
go
talk
out
with
to
the
bid.
people that actually gifted that to us, the people that have been working behind the scenes to try to get it running again before we decide to do anything one way or the other, myself.
Right now, there is a request to accept the bid. Is there any support, or is there a motion to accept the bid?
I so move.
Is there a second? No second, so motion's failed.
I'd like to
and-
make a motion to table it.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to table this, table indefinitely or to a certain date
Not a date, but
or time?
just until we talk with some more people about it. I will get with Kevin because I have reached out to 3 other cities and they are shutting their fountains down.
fine.
And with
We've
that
got 'em.
being said to me, it's like, so the people that, I mean, I want to be respectful to the people that actually gift that to us. I would like to be very respectful to them because it costs a lot of money to do that. So out of respect for them, I'd like to be able to talk with them, which I have not been able to do yet.
We've got a
So I would
motion
just
and
like
second
to
then
make a motion to table it.
this. All in favor of this motion, second to table, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And once that's been done, I'll bring it back.
Ayes
Thank you,
have that.
Kevin.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kevin. Ordinance 1720, amending ordinance numbers 213 and 854 and modifying the others, as you see there on
We'll
yours.
reread ordinance 1720.
All right, got a motion. Was there a second? Yeah, okay, motion second to place the ordinance 1720 on first reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance 1720, an ordinance amending ordinance numbers 213 and 854, modifying Jacksonville Municipal Codes 1886-010, 1886-020, 1886-030, and creating Jacksonville Municipal Code 1886-040, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Councilmember Dietz.
Okay, everybody, council members, Mr. Mayor, and Ms. Stephanie, our legal. So, after discussion at the Planning Commission meeting, this was brought to the Planning Commission by our planning and our engineering staff, Adam, and that our codes are really outdated. So what this was doing was getting our codes in line more with all the cities around us, so we wouldn't have to come before the planning commission on every little thing. The accessory building size was one. The time required was another one. We didn't have enough time. And then our commercial design standards, to be honest, we don't have any codes. When someone comes in, we talked about that, and so this would just set up some codes. They would still have to go through the, once they decided on the accessory building size, we're going to increase that where they don't have to come to us, but they would still have to go to the planning commission, still get a permit, still get it approved through city engineers. So basically, we're just trying to alleviate some of the meetings that we red stamp things just for everybody, and this was brought to me to bring to you through the planning commission and through Adam and them. So Adam, take it away, help us out.
I can hit the highlights,
Yes.
just to kind of clarify. So there's three things that we're really doing. The first is amending the time or submission time to review things from 10 days to 28. So 10 days is too short. That's an old code. I've seen other cities that used to have that. Jacksonville's the last city that I know that has that short of a review window. In short, we don't have enough time to receive submissions from developers, review it, make comments, send it back, and then get those comments back. So it's going to the planning commission with contingencies on it, and we haven't seen the final draft of it yet, and it's just because 10 days is not long enough. 28 days puts everything on the same term. So we've got some advertisement and rezone things that statutorily have longer than 10 days anyway, like rezones and stuff. So we have this smorgasbord of times, of submission times for conditional uses and rezones. 28 days covers everything. So we'll just have one submission 4 weeks prior to the meeting, cleans it up. The second thing is accessory buildings. So we kind of track variance requests and stuff, and if you get too many variance requests in one area, you need to examine your code. We've got tons of variance requests. The exceptions have been made, has been granted on size of structures. Most of those were due to large lots. So the accessory structure ordinance was not conceived with like acreage tracts in mind and stuff. And those tracts, would naturally want, and it would be, and it fits properties to have a larger accessory structure on those. So the planning commission has felt the need to grant those variances. So we looked at our adjoining cities and seen what they had, and they had all of them had a secondary clause to address lots over half an acre or larger that gave a percentage criteria. So we modeled ours after theirs, and also increased the base size of accessory structures from 750 to 850. That would have taken care of 95% of the variance requests that we have seen. That the planning commission has saw fit to grant a variance. So we feel like that was necessity out of time. The third one is something new. Commercial design standards. Specifically, when we talk about commercial design standards, we're talking about facade. So right now we have no facade requirements on buildings. It can be metal building, can be portable building, modular type construction. In the interest of new construction along the corridor 67-167, we had talked about this one as one of the first ones we wanted to try to enact. So as this new corridor develops, we have nice frontage, high quality materials, at least on the front, and wraps around 8 feet to the side. So it basically allows, brick, EIFS, drive it, different combinations of aesthetic, high quality materials, and put some bump outs, if you is the best term to describe. Put some changes in the facade, so you don't just have a sea of our panel metal buildings, lining our new corridor that RDOT's bringing us. So that's the gist of these three. You know, we wanted to start with these three because we thought they was fairly benign. You know, not a whole lot in depth to review there. Of course, we'd be glad to discuss if you have any additions, corrections, but we plan to start trickling a few of these through that we've been studying and looking at over time to the council through the planning commission and look at these, and hopefully, you know, in a year and a half, we'll have a good, clean, revised set of, you know, planning commission design standards. Yes, sir.
Question I have is dealing with section 3,
Okay.
part B. Building may not be used for rental or commercial purposes. Can you explain that?
That's talking about an accessory structure. So that, I mean, that's something that's already in place. Yeah, we can't rent out an accessory structure, then it becomes a commercial use and stuff. Because we have had, yeah, we've had people, you know, we had one yesterday. You know, what about mother-in-law quarters?
Oh.
Okay, well, what do you want to do? I want to go buy a Morgan building and put my mother-in-law in it. No, you can't do that. And that's the second request we've got.
We're trying to protect all neighborhoods.
Right. And honestly,
This does it in a nice way, and it's all, gives code and everybody and engineering some backbone to go by is what we looked at. And really, you know, these codes, 20 years old, everything's changed.
Oh, yeah.
So we're trying to bring them up to date to make it, where it protects all the neighborhoods in the city of Jacksonville, and it looks good. I mean, we got to tweak them some like you talked, but it looks good.
and there is some definitional things that already protect us somewhat of accessory versus a residential use. And there's some gray areas that we still need to clarify, but we can do that within another ordinance.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
Entertain motion to approve ordinance 1720 on first reading and suspend the rules and place on second. We've got a motion and a second, so roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Rains.
Aye, but I still have a question.
Okay.
So you had mentioned a 28-day deadline. I wasn't seeing that in the sections. Am I?
That's in the next ordinance.
Okay.
We talked about all of it in the next.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that if that's something that we needed to amend to make sure that it was in, that we had that discussed and taken care of.
That's in 1721.
Good catch, Rose.
All right, so entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1720 on second reading, suspend the rules, place on
So moved.
third and final reading. We got a motion second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Rains.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1720 on this date. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Rains.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to attach the emergency clause.
So move.
Second.
Motion second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Rains.
Aye.
All right, motion is adopted. Entertain a motion to place ordinance 1721 on first reading.
Second.
First and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Rains.
Aye.
Okay, all right, with any, or you go ahead, yeah, read, sorry.
Ordinance 1721, an ordinance amending Jacksonville Municipal Code 1712, 020, 1712, 030, and 1712, 110 regarding certain zoning and building provisions and requirements, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
The contents of that ordinance were what was just discussed, previously. Any other questions, discussion? If not, we're moving on with it.
Yep, move and approve it.
All right, so now, entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1721 on first and suspend the rules and place on second reading. We've got a first and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1721 on second reading, suspend the rules and place on third and final.
Second.
First and second, so roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
All right, entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1721 on this date.
Second.
Motion second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
All right, that is approved and adopted. Entertain a motion to attach the emergency
So
clause.
moved.
Second.
Motion second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, that one is put to bed.
Okay, before are we done with that one?
With 1721, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know if I can bring this up now, so I guess Stephanie can let me know, but Councilmember Raines did bring up a point on the fountain to earmark money to set aside so that money is not spent elsewhere. So we did not make a amount. The original amount for the splash pad was $300,000. That was set aside to do something with, and then we decided to hold off, and then we talked about fixing the fountain, but we haven't made an amount. Do we need to make a motion to set an amount so that money doesn't get spent elsewhere?
You're wanting to protect a
Yes.
segment of what is
Until we
the
decide what
balance
we're
of the
doing.
ARPA funds.
Yes, what we're doing with that fountain that we've all talked about doing something with, but we don't know what we're doing exactly yet until we get,
Question for legal, is there,
That already passed, Kevin, I don't remember, sorry. I know it had changed.
I think I know the answer to this
From what I, like I said, from what I remember, I don't think there was ever a dollar figure put with it.
Yeah,
The 300,000 that was proposed on the original list for the splash pad,
right,
my department's not spending any of that money. Let me put it that way. I can't speak for other departments, but, I mean, because we had talked about the fountain, or if we're going to move a splash pad to another location, whatever. So I mean, I obviously I can't speak for other
I was
departments.
just trying to protect that, whichever way we're gonna go with it in the future, but I guess if we're spending money in the future, whatever it is, it's gonna come before us anyway, right?
Didn't we have some variances between line items that were already set aside and what actually?
Right,
There
that's
has
what I
been.
remember
Right.
What we ended up with.
and
I think it was a little under 300,000. That's what I want to say, but I don't have them exact
I
figures.
spoke with finance today on this very topic, because we know initially it was 300 that was left as the balance. And as Councilmember Raines just said, there is some truth to that. There have been variances due to others that have, because they, other expenses coming in higher than, what could have been. Right now, it's safe to say that actual balance is around 200,000 instead of 300. Give or take. That's not exact, but that is the general area of which it sits. Now, my other question, I guess, for you is there a date on which the funds have to be spent by?
There is. It's the end of this year.
Okay.
Yes.
So anything that would be done with this fountain, that
Correct.
balance of that money will have to go at some point in time this
Correct.
year. So, Councilmember Twitty is asking to bookmark or earmark, I guess I should say, a portion of those funds to set aside for,
Decide what we're gonna do with the fountain or the splash pad, one or the other.
if there's a motion that's going to be made on that, it needs to be specific, and you would need to put.
Let me ask you a
Yes, sir.
question. The funds already set aside, they already set aside.
but they were not set aside for that.
No.
Y'all took no official action
Right.
on those dollars.
I'd like to make a motion to set aside the remaining of the 200, roughly,
Roughly, whatever the balance is.
whatever that balance is, to set aside for whatever we decide to either do with the fountain or the splash pad.
There is a motion to set that money aside. Is there a second?
Second.
Well,
The splash pad that y'all,
we discussed a splash pad, and then we went and thought we needed to fix the fountain before we put in a splash pad, but I'm just trying to preserve the money to decide until it gets somewhere else, just to hold it, decide what we're gonna do with it.
okay, so
We're just gonna
motion
put it up on the
is,
shelf.
motion is to hold the balance of those funds in reserve for fixing the fountain, which would have to be done, this is not part of the motion, but that would have to be done by
Right.
the end of the year. So
Right.
your motion is to reserve those funds.
And what we decide not to fix it, is that is part of it?
Well, on the fountain, as it is right now, we only had the one bid, and there's not a warranty. We have a year warranty, but we don't really even know what all is broke with it. And so, instead of moving forward on the fountain, we need to find exactly what all is broke with it, and what all needs to be fixed with it. And then, out of respect for the people that actually gifted that to Jacksonville for us, I would like to speak with them and see their thoughts on it.
Did you get a second yet?
Yes, there was a motion and a second. I will say this with that, if we are now beginning of March, the funds, if they are not spent by, Kevin, you said December, end of this year, then what is left is forfeited, and we do not keep. So I would, if you're going this way, I would say you better act quick.
Yes,
And if not, move on.
move on.
So anybody, any other questions, discussion?
I don't know, I got a problem setting aside funds that we might not be using and might have to lose them.
We're only gonna lose them if we don't use them. We're gonna use them. If we don't use it for this, I mean, I'm asking for just,
But I'm saying, we vote for it to be set aside specifically for the fountain.
to be for.
It's gotta be for the fountain, am I right? Because then we're illegal if we just fit that in.
Well, I think she said the fountain or the splash pad, you know.
I mean, that's what it was
But the
originally.
splash pad was over
Yeah,
300,000.
the splash pad was-
That is not something
That's
that we
not-
can do, and that's something that we voted down.
That is correct.
The splash pad, is that the one we're talking about that was downtown?
Yes.
Yes.
No, yeah, we're not
Yeah,
doing
we've
that.
done away with that. But I guess my major concern again is if we vote yes on this, that money's locked for that, and if it doesn't, if we don't use it, that's
You'd have
wasted money that
to,
we
you'd
use
have
somewhere else.
to, you would have to come back and make another motion to,
Are we sure it's this year? It's
Yes.
2024.
I am sure.
Budget's set up.
We don't need no splash pad downtown.
No.
And I think I might have been mistaken, the bond money, 'cause I'm sorry, I'm working out of two different deals here.
Yeah.
And when I sat down, I realized the bond money that's going for the shot curtain has to be spent by the end of this year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there are time constraints on this money.
I think
From
this money here
ARPA.
was 2024.
I think there are time constraints. I used
Right.
to check on the date.
But I think the way it's set up, and I may be wrong, is it's already allocated
It is allocated.
through,
I
I think we're okay.
I don't know if the project has to. be
Right, the
completed or if it's-
bond money on the shot curtain, I have to have it spent by the end of this year. And that's when I sat down, I was like, I might have been mistaken on that. But,
But you also said you're not spending the money.
we're not spending that
So-
money, right.
no, that's a whole
Yes.
different,
Right.
Yeah.
different thing.
Let me ask, do we have enough time that you can research it? And then we can, next meeting we vote? I just don't like to lock down on money.
Well, right now, there is an action that has to be taken because there is a motion with the
Well,
second.
I
on the
can
floor.
withdraw my motion until Stephanie finds out exactly if we have it this year or the 2024.
Who
So
made the second?
I'm going to withdraw my motion until,
All right. Who made the second?
I did.
Yeah,
Withdraw the second?
are you
Withdraw.
Okay,
okay. All right.
we'll get it right. Thank you so
Moving on, ordinance
Rose.
1722. Entertain a motion to place 1722 on first reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing. Ray.
Aye.
Twitty,
Aye.
Kinman,
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance 1722, an ordinance setting forth requirements for commercial design standards, amending ordinance number 213, creating Jacksonville Municipal Codes 1622-010 through 1622-060, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Once again, this is part 3 of what was discussed a while ago. Any other questions, discussion with that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we spoken with any of the commercial owners along the interstate and seen how they feel about this?
This would just affect the new buildings that are gonna be
Yeah.
built, put
Okay.
stipulations on them.
Right.
And we can't mandate everybody to change what they have, but this just protects our look now coming.
Moving forward.
I-57 coming through, because someone could just put up a regular metal building there called a commercial building, and if we don't have rules and regulations for the front facade and everything. That's what we're trying to do, is put some requirements in a bill for the commercial. They still have to get approval and everything goes through engineering now, but this just protects that someone does
So-
what should be to keep our city looking good in new building.
Bottom line, this is grandfathering in, am I correct? Any existing building that is already there, this is only pertaining to new construction.
That's correct. Yeah, there's a list of conditions of triggering factors, and the main one is new construction, or, anything that would cause them to have to do full upgrades to be in compliance with the code, then that's when some things kick in. But so it does protect all existing ones. And should, in effect, if high-end development comes around them, it should, in effect, be a positive thing for them.
Adam, a perfect example of that was Sherwood. 4 or 5 years ago, remember, when Whit Davis built their building? And they got approval, but they didn't do the facade right. They just had metal, and it looked metal and everything, so they had to come in and change the facade, give it a brick look, turn
Right.
it around the side, and they ended up going all the way down. But it didn't meet code after they had submitted it, so they were able to go back, and the city was able to regulate it and to be able to make it look like the rest of it.
Yeah, and there's mechanisms built in for, say, where we've dealt with it in Searcy, for like car dealerships that have like a very franchise front, but it happens to be done with metal panels. Well, there's a mechanism by which they come in and get the facade approved. And those are obviously very attractive, very detailed, marketing facades. So there's when it doesn't meet the letter of the law, there's a mechanism to come in and have it reviewed at the planning commission. Otherwise, it's encouraging people to build high-end, visible structures.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
So, just to reiterate, the triggers for that construction of a new building, any renovations to bring the structure up to code.
Right.
and-
Any renovations substantial enough that would trigger the other, there's a set of other, like it's typically like a 50% of the value type thing. I can't quote it exactly, but in the building code that would trigger that.
And then also the modification for the exterior facade on an existing structure.
That's it.
Cool stuff.
Yep.
All right, entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1722 on first reading, suspend the rules and place on second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing. Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1722, place on second and suspend the rules, on second reading, suspend the rules and place on third and final. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing. Ray.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1722 on this date.
Second.
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing. Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
Entertain motion to attach the emergency
So
clause.
move.
Motion second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
McCleary. Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Twitty. Kinman. Raines.
Aye.
All right, that has passed. Moving on, discussion on the city-owned Sunnyside lots. Let's see how quickly we can roll through this.
Yeah, all I do, yeah, I'm ready to get home before my cars get hail damaged, you know, I don't really want to get mine damaged, I know y'all don't either. But, all I did, huh? Yeah, I got my Ferrari out there today. So all I did was, we talked about selling city lots for a year and a half now, so I got with engineering, I got with basically Melissa, and she provided me with the list. We also had another list. There's some that we have. There's a reason we're keeping some, but the ones that they had talked about getting rid of, I gave every city council member a copy of it. The ones we have not sold them yet. We do have a prospective buyer that likes to buy them all. I run this by Stephanie, and she said that she would have to draft up an ordinance. They've agreed to buy all the lots, to take them off our hands, and pay us $750 and pay all our fees, title, insurance, taxes. City would net $750 on these.
$750 a piece?
A piece.
Oh.
Yeah, and pay all our fees and stuff. And that would help Kevin and save him, what, a day of work mowing, huh?
Yes, sir.
I mean, so, yeah, basically, the majority of them in there are small in disarray. You know, most of the houses in there, right now, probably 60% of them are rentals. The people live out of state. We got to get a handle on that somehow. But basically, these were the ones that the Melissa said that the city, after talking to the mayor, everybody else would be willing to sell.
Okay.
So that.
You have anybody shopping?
Yeah, you want?
No.
If anybody wants them, they're not sold yet. But I mean, you know, the city would.
No, I'm just anybody that.
Well, we talked about going to the neighbors next door. So when we got looking up on, there was a lot of the properties that are owned by out-of-state investors already. So if you know, the problem is if you sell an out-of-state investor and he wants it, he might. But then we're probably going to be in the same situation that we are, because. But this is not. This just get the city council letting them know which lot we have, so that where Stephanie's going to draft up ordinance, and then we'll come back for y'all to approve to sell it. If you want to sell it.
No actionable items on this tonight.
No.
This is just
You know,
FYI for y'all.
You know, well, I'm just saying, but anybody can buy them.
How did we come up with the price of $750?
That's the most we've been able to get for any of them over there.
But Mike, you said the potential buyer that you're talking about, I mean, most of those homes over there, you say, are rental?
Yes.
And the potential buyer is probably going to put in more rentals?
Once he buys them, he's wherever he wants.
He got something to say. Do he have anything to say?
Yeah, we're waiting on the bid, bring him up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like I said, we've talked about it. It's been up in front of everybody. We've tried to sell them before. Jimmy had said years ago, and I've talked to some people, they said, well, if you give them away, give them away. But I mean, if someone's willing to pay for them, so we don't have to maintain them, and if they put something over there, anything they put over there, if they build new houses, is going to better fit the area, and maybe it'll make it start growing again. That was why we originally got some of these lots to help grow. I mean, I think, Bishop, you know that, and but the city mowing them and the expense of mowing them is expensive, and it takes Kevin a day every other week.
Is there any way that
Half a day a week.
Is there any way that we could put a notice out there to the people that live next door that are renting right now, but that lot is empty and we're offering to sell it to that person, so maybe they don't have to rent, they could build?
If anything you want to do at this point, you can do. I'm done with it.
For the sale of land, you guys have to approve a resolution.
Yeah, but I mean, I've talked to the people over there and been in there, and I've worked on this for a year and a half, and Kevin would love to have them gone before April 1st, before we have to start mowing, because the weeds grow fast.
Let me say this, we've had a couple of people come in And because we were cutting the yard next door, they were asking about it a while back, and we ended up making a deal and sold. So the ones who live next to these lots, they know those lots are open. It's the city's cut.
But do they know they're for sale for $750 though?
You're welcome to, if I was you, if you want to, you got the lots and the addresses, and I'd send them a letter and tell them they're available if they want to do them, but they need to know that we got a net $750. Because they, you know, I'm telling you, they wanted us to pay fees. Yeah.
If you, Stephanie, if you would check, please, Attorney Stephanie, and see if it would be legal for us to put something in the paper about this, and that way people who live there, they can look at it and see there's $750. That way they get an opportunity. I see what our councilman would do.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, we talked about that. If someone wants them, they're,
So
yeah.
put these addresses in the paper, and this amount, the person that lives next door can,
Councilmember Dietz, you had mentioned that most of them were adjacent to out-of-state rentals, but were any of them next to any local people that owned?
There's a few of them.
And did you reach out to any of them?
I talked to them, but, you know, show me the money. I mean, that's the whole situation.
it won't be on the payment plan.
Yeah. If they, you know, like I said, they know they're available, and if they want to reach out to us, we've talked about it, it's an all meeting, then we'd love them to have it. That, you know, we'd love them to have it, and we want them to combine it into one lot though. So they have to maintain it, mow it, and they can't just put an accessory building on it. People need to realize that because it's a residential building lot.
All right.
All right, recommendation has been made for that. So we will continue this discussion, and action will plan on that at another date.
I have one quick question
Yes, ma'am.
to you and to you. To net the 750, what a guesstimate of the expenses, if anybody was to talk to somebody, you know, is it going to be 1,000? Is it going to be 850? I don't know what closing costs or realtor's fees or.
You know, you need a title policy, revenue stamps, that, so you're talking, if they get title insurance, you're talking probably $400. So they're gonna need $1,150 to close.
That's kind of what I wanted to.
Huh?
That's kind of what I wanted to.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to have a title policy. Yeah, and the people that's making this offer once a mall, they're gonna pay for everything. Close it and cut us a check, and then they'll start building houses if someone wants to buy them. You know, they haven't said if they'd rent them or not. If someone buy them, they'd love to rather sell them later. So that, you know, like everything else, as in the building business, if you build a house that doesn't sell and you can rent it, you know, that happens a lot everywhere.
Any other discussion there? No, not yet. Entertain motion to go into executive session to or discuss a personnel issue. Yes, sir. He's going to afterwards. Yes.
So moved.
Motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
All right, ayes have it. Go to executive session.
Good afternoon.
I found you got one.